another episode of Curious. I'm your host, Sharon Latimer Mosley. On today's show, we continue our conversation about Zen meditation with Sensei Robert Walker Gunn, guiding teacher of the Empty Hand Zen Center in New Rochelle. Welcome again, Kaku.
Thank you.
So we're going to continue our conversation about Zen practice. I have so many questions, as I did before. Hopefully we can get through them this time. What is a way-seeking mind talk or a Dharma talk, and how does one give one? And who gives one?
Wow.
That's a lot, right?
So, way-seeking mind is a phrase in Zen practice that comes from the Taoist notion of the way. The way is called the Tao, so a way-seeking mind is one that is on the path of the Tao.
Okay.
So what does that mean?
Yes, what does that mean?
It means that we are asking very basic questions about our lives, about who we are, why we're here, and what we're doing being here.
Okay. And so what's a Dharma talk or a way-seeking mind talk? And who gives that?
So in a formal sense, a way-seeking mind talk is anyone who's a Zen practitioner who wants to share what his or her experience has been on the path of practicing Zen.
Okay, now would that person be someone who has taken precepts? You spoke about precepts in one of the previous shows. So who would be giving this talk? A student? A teacher?
So we're all teaching all the time, no matter what our age is. And we're also learning, hopefully, all our time, if we're open to it. So, but we're referring, when we use this phrase, to someone who has had some substantial amount of practice in Zen and has something to offer about their perspective on what they have learned by their practice.
Now, when you say what do you mean by substantial time? Is that what you said?
I did.
Okay, so what do you mean by that? After 10 years or 20 years, I'm now able to talk, or am I able to talk after practicing 1 year?
So the reason I hesitate about answering that is because there's a formal answer and there's an informal answer. The formal answer is established by whatever the branch of Zen Buddhism is that you are practicing in. So, for example, some people will not be allowed to give a talk until they have been through what we call Jukai.
Okay.
So in Jukai, it's the process by which we study the precepts. The precepts are the basic ideas and guidelines in Zen practice. And when we complete that and commit to following the Buddha way, then we are given a symbol of that commitment, and that's why you and I are wearing these little bibs. And as hopefully people are able to see,
I'm able to see.
on the back of your rakusu is some writing, and the writing has to do with Zen practice. It also identifies the person wearing it who is given what we call a Dharma name. So in your case, we have Judo, and that is your Dharma name. And what does that mean?
Yes, what does that mean?
So,
why are you putting me on the spot?
that's my job.
Oh, okay. It's the Tao is the way, and purity along the way, or purity after the way.
So yes,
that's pretty bad.
It's about the when I gave you that name, it was to really affirm the sincerity and the integrity of your Zen practice.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, what do you think are the steps for finding peace and having equitable conversations? Because I think people have difficulty having conversations with people who don't agree with them. So what would you say is a way to have equitable conversation?
I think we have to be in a position in our lives where we're willing to entertain different ideas and different perspectives without feeling a need to defend our own when somebody offers something that's different.
Okay.
So we have to be willing to entertain something that's not only different but new, and something perhaps that we even disagree with. Can we entertain that without getting upset? It's not easy.
No.
So that's why we practice.
Okay.
Because when I say practice, I'm specifically talking about Zen meditation, which we call Zazen, or sitting Zen.
So do you find that because of your practice, you're able to listen without the anger? It does rise, but not letting it spout out.
Right. The hope is, and the goal is, to be able to recognize whatever your reaction is, notice it without reacting and expressing it directly.
I like to say to people to just take a breath before you say anything.
Yes.
Just one breath.
Exactly.
You don't have to do 20, just one.
Right.
And that seems to solve the problem. Now, recently you had a piano recital.
True.
And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it. Why did you decide it was time for you to have a piano recital?
Because I hadn't given one for about a year or two.
And how long have you been playing the piano?
I started when I was about 10 years old.
So have you been consistently playing?
Very inconsistently.
Oh.
I took lessons, as a kid, and then I went away to college. And I did have some organ lessons, actually, not piano lessons, during college with Cyril Wright at Columbia. But mostly I kept singing. I joined the Glee Club.
Oh, you sing too? I didn't know. This is something, I'm learning something new.
So I love singing, and so I was in the Glee Club, and at a certain point I was also their accompanist.
So let's listen to an excerpt of your concert. We're going to listen to Franz Schubert, Andante?
Yes.
Okay, let's listen to Kaku play. back. That was beautiful, let me first say. Could you tell me a little bit about that night? Because I think it's really remarkable that you were able to play a full concert, which was about an hour and a half. And what had happened that day?
Well, in the afternoon before that concert, my teacher gave me Dharma transmission, which means full empowerment to teach in Zen Buddhism.
And that was a long day, but you managed to do a full concert.
Well, this Dharma transmission is really kind of a big deal.
Yes, it is.
It's something that is not given easily or quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very, very happy occasion for me. So I got, kind of energized and very up.
I just don't know how you did it. I really don't. Tell me, who was your teacher? Your piano teacher?
Oh, my piano teacher is Taka Kagawa. Mm-hmm. And he's, I've been studying with him for, 3 or 4 years now.
Mm-hmm. So now that you are a teacher, a Zen teacher, and you have a teacher, what is the relationship between teacher and student, and what did you learn about yourself working with another teacher?
So you're talking about another Zen teacher?
I'm talking about the piano teacher.
Okay, because...
Yeah, that was a lot going on that day.
That's true, that's true. So Taka is a really helpful and extraordinary teacher, and yet the way that he teaches, I don't know, all he does is he listens to me and encourages me and takes note when I make mistakes and encourages me to keep on going whether I make mistakes or not.
So let's talk about mistakes.
Yeah.
Did you make any?
I made a lot of them. Yeah.
And how did you feel about making mistakes?
Yucky.
And then what did you do with that?
Keep on playing.
You just kept on playing.
Yeah.
So what is your advice to people who make mistakes and they just stop?
So Taka said to me many times before the recital, he said, just keep on playing. Don't stop. Keep on playing. So that would be my advice to people.
Don't stop.
Don't stop. Just keep on going.
Playing.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that the two of you have in common is listening.
Well,
because you listen very intently, and your advice is pretty clear and supportive. It's not judgmental. Did you feel that he judged you ever?
Oh, he was judging me all the time. But the question is, how does he express it, For the most part, he basically expressed it by paying note of whatever the mistake was and, encouraging me to replay it or sometimes just keep on going.
So how do you give supportive criticism, or is criticism and support is different? What would you say?
So I think my goal for myself personally is to be able to take note of what is going on and speak truly, and at the same time do it in a way that supports the person in their life.
Oh, that's beautiful, Kaku. So we're going to listen to another piece, Kaku. Let's listen. That was great, Kaku.
Well, thank you.
You're so amazing. I couldn't do that. It sounded like you were playing two different pieces at the same time. Like it sounded like one hand was playing one thing and the other hand was playing another.
Well, usually that's what we do. Hopefully one has a good correlation to the other one, you know.
Do you think it's ever too late for someone to learn an instrument?
No.
Why?
Because what are you going to do with your life anyway? You know, I mean, I get people, you know, I mean, I'm 75 and I'm still, you know, learning.
Wow. You're an amazing 75-year-old. You do a lot.
Well, I love it. I love what I do.
What do you think playing the piano has added to your life?
Joy.
Joy. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, what piece of advice, I'm going to tell, okay, so we're going to start. What piece of advice would you give to your children about life?
Oy. It's very hard to give advice to your children. I mean, you know.
I think you're very supportive, so what would you say? What the best piece of advice you could give them?
Be yourself fully all out.
Okay, now what is the best piece of advice you would give to your grandchildren?
Same thing.
Same thing, and what would you give to your Zen students?
Same thing.
That's such a Zen teacher.
Well,
the answers are very simple, and sometimes you don't understand them until much later.
Yeah.
And what have you? I wanted to ask you this final question, if I might, and then we're going to exit with some of your music. But what do you think Zen practice has taught you about transitions, life transitions? Because life can be chaotic. And what does it add or not add, or what has it taught you about facing transitions?
So this is the central aspect of Zen practice, is sitting and being still and paying attention to what you experience. Learning how to sit with whatever we experience is difficult and profound and liberating.
Thank you, Kaku.
Thank you for your great questions.
I tried. And thank you for watching. Good night.